it's the mindset is really key. And if the problem is, I think we set, particularly in this day and age where we have access to celebrities more than ever, and our smartphones can go anywhere and see everything, we get so mad that we're not Kanye or we're not LeBron James after one day, or Serena Williams. Like, they had to work. I mean, like, do you realize Serena Williams was 3 years old with a tennis racket in her hand? Like, that's what it takes. So, and it's okay if you never become Serena Williams or LeBron James.
Be happy where you are.
Be happy where you are.
And aspire to be better.
And aspire to be better. Yeah, use that as motivation to get better, not to be them, but to better yourself. And so, yeah, I think trying to be the best self is rather than be the next so-and-so.
Right.
I don't want to be the next so-and-so. I remember for years I wanted to be Tony Williams because my dad wanted me to be the next Tony Williams.
Yeah.
But I can't be Tony Williams. I can only be Derrek Phillips. I can steal a lot of stuff from Tony Williams to make a better Derrek Phillips. Yeah. And that's the best I can do.
Yeah.
Because I'll never be Tony Williams.
I love what you just said. Yeah, that's great. Because a lot of people want to be this.
Right.
And it's like, look, just use that to be a better you, just to be part of what you have.
Right.
Because that person has their influences, and you will have your influences. Like when people say, what's my voice?
Yeah.
What's my sound? And you can't create your sound because your sound is everything you hear.
Right.
It's like when we speak, I mean, every word I'm saying to you, it's not an original word.
Right.
We're not making up a new language.
Exactly.
Every word we've said to each other has been something that's been spoken to us before.
Totally.
And now we've taken all those experiences and our own unique individuality, and that's our
what makes us
sound. And I think it's the same way with music.
Totally, man, undoubtedly. Yeah, I used to struggle with that because when I was going to William Patterson, the players are so good. They had their sound. They were so mature, and they were undeniable. I would remember I would walk by the practice room, not look in the window, and I could know who was playing drums or saxophone or guitar because they had their own voice. And I struggled with that because I felt like I was so generic. And growing up in a house where I heard every kind of music and I love playing every kind of music, I always looked down on myself going, well, I'm just going to be just a generic drummer. I'm not going to be like Elvin Jones sounds like Elvin Jones. Yeah. Like it's clear as day. John Bonham sounds like John Bonham. No one else sounds like that. And so I always struggle with that thinking, well, people hire me because I'm just a good drummer or a good enough drummer. Yeah. Or do they, exactly. Or do they want Derrek Phillips? And so I really struggled with that. I was really insecure about that because I wanted to be hired because I was Derrek Phillips, not because I was just a drummer that can do the job. When I was surrounded by guys my age, that sounded like them. They didn't sound like anyone else.
How did you get over that?
I reminded myself that I just need to be in love with what I'm creating. And so I started to, instead of thinking about how do I sound to people, how do I sound to me? And I just started to fall in love with me. And I remember telling a friend of mine, I want, when I hit the drum, I want to believe that it's 100% me and that I love what's coming from the drum. And if I don't like it, then it's just something I need to fix. Because since I'm the one creating it, I have the power to fix it. And so it's not a matter of, so that's, I guess that the problem was I was trying to see myself the way other people see me instead of just simply seeing myself. Yeah. And so that's when I got over that hurdle, that's when it clicked.
I think what you said was interesting is that, you've got to love yourself and you've got to love what you're doing, because even if you're the greatest drummer in the world or the greatest musician in the world, if you're not loving what you're doing, why are you doing it?
Good point.
But I also think that, perhaps you didn't hear the Derrek Phillips sound because you're Derrek Phillips, right? Like,
good point.
It's so much easier for you to look at someone and go, hey, you're a jerk, and here's why, because I see you from out here. I see you objectively. And so I think that it probably was quite difficult for you to hear your sound, but I might assume that it's probably pretty easy for people to hear your sound. No, man, you've totally got a sound.
Yeah.
Because you do this, and then you probably go, oh, everyone knows this. But again, it's just the way we speak, the way we talk, the inflections, it's all part of the uniqueness of a musician. And like you're saying, I think that for a lot of people who don't have a sound and they lament on it, I think that they probably do. They just, because you're so close.
Right. That's a great point. Yeah, and I don't think that it's I don't know. I would beg the question if the artists and people that we admire and aspire to be, if they were so concerned with their own sound. They were just in the moment creating. They were just doing it.
Yeah.
So they just happened to become successful, and now we know about them and talk about them and emulate them. But they weren't. Duke Ellington wasn't trying to sound like worried about, oh, I want to make sure I sound like Duke Ellington. Like, what?
He
like,
just did.
Yeah,
He just
Robert
did.
Johnson didn't care. Like, they just did. Ella Fitzgerald, she just did. Like, it wasn't like, I got to make sure people know my sound.
Yeah.
Like, no, they just did what they did.
Yeah, I'm sure Robert Johnson would have wanted to sound like someone. Oh boy, I wish I could sound like it.
Right. Exactly.
Can you imagine listening to that
Exactly.
today? You're like, are you serious?
I know. That's funny. That would be funny. I know. I could imagine Ella Fitzgerald going, why don't I sound like Anita O'Day?
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah, exactly. And thank God for it.